جلاله خالق جل جلاله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Ramadan Mubarak. I hope everyone is having a blessed Ramadan full of mercy and fun with family and friends and community, and making all these spiritual connections and personal connections that are positive. And I hope that any negativity that's coming this way during this month, that we all have the ability to deal with it and to move on and keep on pushing on. Inshallah. I'm so honored that Sapelo Square asked me to do this personal reflection. I only am doing it because it is Sapelo Square. I love the great work that they do and the people that do it. And honestly, I usually am not the type of person to do this type of thing. I am very, I hold my interaction and relationship with the Qur'an very intimately and personally and privately, even to the point where I rarely even recite it with my family and my husband. It's always been that way. I find it as one of the main solaces in my life, and one of the main, for lack of a better term, escape from the world and people and the inner turmoils that I go through in my life. So I feel a little bit strange doing this, but inshallah I'm going to do it. And the juz that I was given is juz 20, all right? And it has sort of Naml, Al-Qasas, and Al-Ankabut in it. And there are a lot of themes in those surah, so I really want to kind of focus in on one in particular that consistently speaks to me because of the work that I do with the Muslim Anti-Racism Collaborative, with NBA Muslims, with Radio Islam, and that is the advocacy that I do, the anti-racism advocacy that I do as a sexual abuse survivor, the advocacy that I do. And so it's something that speaks to me, that I see a lot in the Quran, and it's in this juz as well. And that is one of the things that you see, that you read consistently in the Quran, are the stories of the prophet and the prophets, and the similarities and some of the things that happens in the prophets. So in different surah, you'll see common themes that happen to the prophet, a line of prophets, what they said to the people, the responses that they got back from the people, and how it runs along the same vein, because we're talking about the same human beings. There's nothing unique. We're not, it's not like we're a different creation every generation. No, same human beings, same frailties of the heart, same ability to triumph and be noble and be good, and also to be evil, and to listen and to learn and to get guidance, and also to fall into misguidance. So that's one of the things I wanted to kind of concentrate on, which was Surah Al-Naml, ayah 80 and 81, where Allah talks about not being able to make the deaf hear, okay, and not being able to lead the blind. The prophets, they have guidance from Allah. These were people who had guidance from Allah, and they got rejected by their people. Their people didn't listen for various reasons, and some of them did, and some of them didn't. Okay, and so I always think about the things that I do, and the fact that sometimes people will listen, sometimes they won't. Things like racism and misogyny and classism and all of that, it's talked about in the Quran because they're frailties of the human heart, and they exist because human beings exist. This is the part of the way that Allah created us, for us to be able to purge it from ourselves. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes you'll say something and it won't resonate with someone. And so does that mean, the prophets got frustrated? Of course, you're going to get frustrated if you're doing this work. So do you stop or do you continue? So I always think about that. And also in Surah Al-Qasas, ayat 56, where he says, you cannot even, you can't lead the people that you love if you want to. If Allah is not going to guide them, He's not going to guide them. If they're not going to hear it, they're not going to hear it. And so oftentimes you may even have this fight within your own home with people that you love the most intimately. You have these fights where you're trying to talk about things and it just does not happen, and you have to accept that. It's part of the submission that you have to go through. And even among your own people who are also oppressed, you may experience as well, which, I think of in Surah Al-Qasas, the Qarun. He was from Musa's people, and he had that itaraf. He had that comfort and that privilege and that wealth and everything like that. And, even though he was from among the oppressed people, he was one of the few that was given wealth and privilege from the dominant society, from Pharaoh. And, he went to his head. It went to his head. And so you're going to encounter as well this idea that all people from a minority group or an oppressed group are going to think the same way, feel the same way about the oppression that they experience, or are going to experience the exact same oppression. It doesn't happen. And so when you're talking to people who do not see the oppression the way that you see it, because they may be blinded by their own privilege, even though they're a part of the oppressed group, then there's nothing that you can do about that. That's one of the things that happens. And so I think that there are a lot of poignant stories in these siwar, in this juz, and those resonate the most with me, inshallah. And the thought of, what do you do? What did the prophets do? They kept doing their work. Well, not Yunus. He kind of ran away, right? But he had to, Allah sent him back. No, I didn't say you were done. You go back there. So you continue the work, inshallah. And whose mind you're able to positively affect, okay, to want to do better in stemming oppression and racism and sexism, all those other isms. That's great, alhamdulillah, but when it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And you kind of have to accept that. And that's one of the main things that I learned from when I read this juz, inshallah. So may Allah make us successful, all of us successful in this life and the akhirah. May He open up our hearts so that we're able to listen to each other and learn and grow from each other. And I hope that everyone has a fabulous last 10 days, okay, inshallah, and get the best out of them that they can get and earn paradise, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
جل جلاله الظاهر جل جلاله الباطن